us. একটা হাততালি হয়ে যাক for all the moms in the world before I introduce the lovely panelists, and it's a pleasure to be a part of this wonderful session. Please put your hands together as I invite on stage Mrs. Shomita Medhora. She serves as a secretary of the Indian Society for Sponsorship and Adoption, operating a specialized adoption agency. With a distinguished career spanning 36 years as an adoptions professional, Mrs. Medhora has worked closely with the Central Adoption Resource Authority, CARA, as a facilitator. Through her work, she advocates for children's rights under the Juvenile Justice Act and provides training and preparation to prospective adoptive parents, guiding them through the adoption journey. Can we put our hand? So, ma'am, thank you so very much, and we're looking forward to hearing from you. Somebody who needs no introduction because she's an icon to many, and I think to everybody, because we look up to her. Our panelists, all her magic and a great human being with a golden soul. Mandira Bedi needs no introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together because she defines motherhood. As an adopted mother herself, she is just not a part of this conversation, she is the conversation. Thank you so very much. It's a pleasure having you. Kolkata, can we really make it loud for everybody on the panel today? May I please invite on stage Mr. Shubhadeep Banerjee, the visionary, and ladies and gentlemen, he needs no introduction. Mr. Banerjee would request you to please kindly have your seat on the panel. May I now have the honor of inviting the storyteller who crafts magic with his creation. From Onurodon to the process of Dear Ma, the journey has been absolutely magical. The award-winning, much acclaimed, ladies and gentlemen, Aniruddha Rai Chaudhary back with his Bangla Chobi after 10 years itself is a great news. Please put your hands together as I invite Director Aniruddha Rai Chaudhary, Dear Ma, the next we are all waiting for. Please put your hands together as I invite the Ma. Dear Ma, who needs no introduction, she's been with her fine performances worldwide, an incredible person. Thank you so much, Jaya, for being a part of the panel. Without any further ado, should we begin the panel discussion? Apnara jodi interested hon ekটু হাততালি দেবেন because it is really inspiring to feel that you all are with us. So thank you very much for your precious time. I would first like to ask Mrs. Medhora that this journey has been a very interesting one, and there is so much that we would want to know. But is the adoption process in India evolving? And what are the some key developments that you have observed in this journey? Because in your view, it hinders public perception about adoption, because this is something very important. What do people perceive, and what has been your experience back now?
Thank you very much. Firstly, I would really like to thank everybody for considering adoption and bringing it to the forefront. This is something that we have worked with for the last many years, and the problem that we face with adoption is the secretiveness and the hesitation of sharing the adoption process with family, friends and society. That I feel would have been the biggest challenge in the 90s when we started to work in adoption. I think over the years that has changed. The Central Adoption Resource Authority has come in to regulate all adoptions in the country, And we have seen that families who wish to adopt register on the portal, and then it is not a very easy system to proceed in the process. I think the challenge that we now face is the number of families that are waiting for a child, and I think we will all share that it takes about 3.5 to 4 years. And that is the challenge that we're trying to deal with, to get children into the system, to try and promote legal adoptions so that children do come into the system. I think if we look at figures, we have over 36,000 families waiting for a child from the Central Adoption Resource Authority. And I think we all have a responsibility of seeing that children in need of parental care. We can see that every child needs a family, and the biological family is probably the best. But any child in need of parental care has to be brought into the system so we can do our best for that child.
Would like to ask the next question to Mandira, that you've lived in this journey. You are a true icon, and we would love to know if you could take us back to the time when you decided to adopt and what that meant exactly for you, and what inspired you to speak so openly about adoption. Would love to hear you.
Gosh, how much time are you giving me? Because there's so much to say, and I feel so strongly about this subject that I have a lot to say. Firstly, yes ma'am, it takes very long. A lot of people get disheartened on their journey, and so Kara has to make that process easier. And when you've got your checks and balances in place, you should just go ahead. You know that this is a good family, you know you've got all the proof that you need. It shouldn't take 3.5 to 4 years. I must tell you this, firstly, for us it was not a last resort. For us it was not, I have my own biological child and I've adopted a little girl as well. But I tell you, it goes back to when I was dating my husband, and when you talk about your goals and dreams in life, I remember telling you at that time, my early 20s, that I've always wanted to have one and adopt one, and it sounds really good, have one and adopt one. And my husband, who was my boyfriend at the time, was suitably impressed, and he was like, oh wow, that sounds great and everything. And then to actually go ahead and do it, that's another story altogether. So we had our son, and then when our son was about 3 or 4 years old, I reminded Raj, I said, Raj, remember we talked about this, have one, adopt one. I really still want to adopt a little girl. And funny thing is, I'd already named her Tara before she was even in our frame of reference anywhere, because when I was pregnant, I said, if it's a boy, it's going to be Veer, if it's a girl, it's going to be Tara. And so Veer came along, so Tara had to come. And so when Veer was about 6 years old, is when we the process easier for parents. Let the wait not be 3.5 and 4 years, let it be 1.5 and 2 years, so that children who need to be with families can be with families sooner. So my son was 6 when we actually put the papers in, and then we both got busy with work, and we followed up now and then, but we were very low apparently on that, or very far down on the list. And then COVID came along, and I told my husband, I said, Raj, if it's not going to happen now, it's not going to happen ever. So let's just put our foot on the gas and make things happen. And I'm going to put this one message out, because this is that platform. They give an option of where you can adopt from. They give you states to choose from, and just because that's an option, circle a couple of states. But if you say anywhere in India, your name moves really fast on that list. So that's a secret I'm sharing with you, because I want this to go out there. And honestly, that's all I did. So 3 years later, when we're in the middle of COVID, I'm telling Raj, what do we do? And there's a friend of mine who applied after me, a single mom, and her daughter came along faster than ours did. So she said, just revisit your papers and circle that anywhere in India option. And honestly, 1 month from when I did that, Tara's photograph was in her inbox and she came along, and she came to us at the age of 4, and she will be on 28th of July, she'll be with us for 5 years. She's 9, and village called Tikbai. She'd never traveled in any kind of vehicle before she came to us, and it was the time of the pandemic. She traveled on a private jet to come to Mumbai. So that is what they say about destiny, and that's what they say about Kismat. And when I look at her and I look into her eyes, I can see into her soul, and I really believe that she was meant to be a part of our family. And the truth is, my son is gifted musically, and I don't have a musical bone in my body. I'm telling you, if I sing, he closes his ears and says, my ears are hurting. So he's musically gifted, and he's, very artistic. And my daughter is just like me. She's, physically very active. She's athletic. She looks exactly like I used to look at that age, long curly hair. So there is so much that is similar in her and me. There's more similarity between Tara and me than there is between my biological son and me. So I really believe in destiny. She had to come to us, and she has changed, our lives forever. So it's been such a wonderful, without limit to my life. A card saying, I love you, mom. You're the best mom ever. My card now and then, but my daughter without fail makes one. And it's amazing how she's just got molded into our life. She came at a time where she could speak and everything, but she used to speak with a dialect, like she said, J ka hai, J kon hai. She spoke like that, and now she gets into the car and says, Mom, drop the beats. So she's totally molded into our family. My son is a hugger. Thankfully, he's a hugger. He loves to hug me. And Tara, who was a little reserved with hugs to begin with, now is like, she comes, she sees me, she just wraps her arms around me. Love you, mom, best mom ever. So I'm telling you, she's, if only more people, there are a lot of people who say, we want to have our own child, we want to have our own child. Have your own child. Have your own child, and let the second child be an adopted child, because there are times when I'm with both Veer and Tara, I'm lying on my bed and I've got Veer on one side and Tara on the other, and I say to myself, I am so privileged, I am so lucky, and I am blessed that I've had the opportunity, that I'm having this opportunity, that I'm living this lifetime being a biological parent and an adoptive parent, because it is so, so, so special. And I think I'm the privileged one over here. I'm so lucky.
The magic just gets magical with a magical mom like you and a beautiful girl like Tara, adding all the light. God bless. My next question would be for Mr. Shubhadeep Banerjee, Chief Digital Marketing Officer. Sir, Sanfi's mom's magic has long celebrated the warmth and strength of mothers. What inspired the brand to spotlight adoptive motherhood through this new campaign? Why the thought, and we would love to share the story.
So our tagline says is "Dil ke aage sabke haal hai." As a brand, we've always, and I was talking about the stories and how we were building the brand, and we never ended up talking about the product. We only talked about the ethos, the emotions. When we heard the storyline, it exactly resonated with the brand core, where we say that we always celebrate these enchanting moments, the warmest superpower that we all know. And hence, I don't think any of us, and we have Kirti and Arpit and others sitting in this room, any of us actually felt that this is not the story and not the world where we would not want to participate. Having said that, I think it's just not about participation and ensuring that we all try to leave this strong message that Anirudh and team have tried to weave. But it's also about how we can participate. And we heard one of the asks. You know, since Mandira has lived it, and God bless Mandira and Tara and me. But I've also seen from very, very close quarters my own friends and relatives who have adopted. There are lots of societal biases which exist today. I think there are more doors which are closed than doors which are open when we take this decision. And believe me, ma'am, when we hear 4 years, when husband and wife have decided and maybe have spoken to their close set of friends and families, that 4 years is a very, very long, difficult wait for multiple reasons. I think there is an important area that we can all think through how, and she talked about a cheat code. So one of my friends who have now adopted their second kid, when they were adopting their first kid, they circled Kerala. And that's the slowest in the pecking order of, according to him, this